Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's someone that's known here today, and today we're reviewing the substance codeine. Codeine has been around here and there throughout my journey, and it's actually the first substance I've ever really gotten high off of. Recently though, I did some trials, as if you know about the Connor review, you know what's up in this, and just to see how I fare with it today. So what is it though? Many of you may know this from pop culture as the lean or purple drink or whatever, or just simply like as cough medicine. And though codeine may be prescribed for a cough, recent findings actually show that it may be no more effective than a placebo. But codeine itself is actually a naturally occurring opioid from poppy seeds, often seeing semi-synthetic production for pharmacological uses, normally in the form of liquid or pills with acetaminophen. And what does it do? Now, first I want to say that codeine itself isn't active, and it first must be metabolized by the liver and then converted to morphine. It can be used for cough, but it's best used as a mild pain reliever and antidiarrheal for medicinal purposes. Recreational use may include pain relief for sleep, feelings of euphoria, dream enhancement, and feelings of contentment. And some of the negative effects may include drowsiness, nausea, constipation, appetite suppression, depression, and a decreased libido. In a metaphorical way, I would say it makes me feel comfy as fuck. Now, my experience. This won't really be like the Connor review where we get to explore the different routes of administration, but rather I did some trials based on the dosage. A medicinal trial, a light recreational dose, and a stronger one. I can't really recommend codeine other than for oral administration. There is possible harm with snorting it from pills and whatnot, and orally is the most effective route as it is the fastest way to your liver, so it's then converted to the morphine. But like the Connor review, we will include a list of set attributes that I pay attention to for what I think is important when taking a substance. We pay attention to the mood, energy, sociability, a food test, a work test, a creativity test, a physical activity test, music test, walking test, and an entertainment test. Also, a new test on this list that's kind of a little looser, a weed test, only because weed is such a popular, widely used substance that I'm sure many of you would like to know the question, can I smoke off of it, or how's it with bud? Now, starting with the strong recreational dose, we're going to go kind of backwards with this one. We did 150 milligrams. I've been experienced with doses between 2 and 300 milligrams, and that's when I was really kind of looking, get fucked up, but I didn't really deem it as necessary for this trial, and you don't really want to go over 400 milligrams typically, as you will hit the ceiling as they call it, and just adverse effects will pursue rather than recreational. But anyways, this dose took exactly 30 minutes to hit, and the high is normally like 4 or 5 hours. Typically I look to snooze before I hit this point though, and I did have some slight stomach disruptions or just general uneasiness that I saw somewhat as nauseous. But let's just get into this, and most of it is recorded or written down in real time. Mood. I'm in a pretty good mood. I feel similar to how I would on kratom actually, or a light dose of hydrocodone, where I get in this mood where I just kind of mindlessly do stuff. Not mindlessly, but effortlessly. I'm still mindful when it's necessary. I would take kratom for work so you can get an idea of how I fit into that mindset. I don't really feel this is very recreational. Yes, it is for a light night of just chillaxing, but I definitely still feel up to par with how I am sober, which can be a letdown for some, but I feel content. Cognitive euphoria is definitely there though. Energy. I do feel like I can just sit back and chill out, which I do prefer actually because my stomach is, being apparent, comparable to very light nausea, but I don't feel like I'm falling asleep and I can easily play an active role in things. Less physical energy than being sober. Sociability. This effect is definitely promoted. I feel like there's cognitive relaxation on your mind and things just come out easily. It isn't the most pronounced effect, like you have to be in the mood with it and put in some effort, but it definitely feels easier, like probably like 20 or 30% better. Food test. Not gonna lie, not looking forward to this because of the potential nausea. As far as taste, not bad though. I don't feel any enhancement, but rather a decrease in taste quality, like 10% not as good. I just got some fries and I'm definitely not smashing these, but just having a fry like every 30 seconds to a minute. Not a big appetite, and I haven't eaten in about 3 or 4 hours now. Food is definitely not a pro. Work test. A little prone to distraction, mainly in the form of my thoughts just trailing off and thinking about something similar to what I was working on. This could be normal thought flow though. Work I do feel requires a bit more effort than normal, but I do find I can get into a rhythm. Efficiency might be lacking about by 10% if I had to guess. Creativity test. No lack in creativity, not even a hinder really. I wrote a prologue for a story I'm writing, and I think it turned out great. Though I wouldn't say this is due to the codeine playing an effect, but just me doing me with little to no effect from the codeine. Maybe a sort of bias effect on my end knowing that I'm off the codeine though. Physical activity test. This is not sitting well for me. The pro to this is the pain relief for soreness, and it's still there but more numbed and not much of a bother. But I feel like even though I can perform exercises, I go at a much slower pace than normal, and it requires a lot more mental effort. With the drowsiness, I'd rather just be chilling, so motivation for working out is pretty garbage. Music test. Music is actually better. I can't lie right now. I think the music is putting me in a better mood. It feels blissful, and I think it's partially responsible for the cognitive euphoria. I recommend some slow, drowsy music for this. Young Lean and Lucky are two artists that really seem to click for me and get me in this mood. Watch My Back by Lucky is a must. Walking test. I wouldn't say go on a walk if you take codeine. If you like walks, go try it out because it was pretty good for me, though I feel like I couldn't go very long. I walked about maybe 3/4 of a mile, and any more I think my stomach was just not going to be happy, and I was just kind of reflecting on life, past experiences with opiates I had. The cars were interesting though. They provided this drifting effect, which I thought was neat, but I just walked with my head held high. Entertainment test. Decided to watch a movie, definitely something you can just sit back and chill with. I was able to follow the movie easily and just be entertained, which is the goal. I see this as a definite option that would be decent to do if you don't really have shit else to do. Moving on to the moderate dose, or the light recreational dose we should say. This dose was at 100 milligrams and took about 35 minutes to kick in. A lot of the effects I experienced with the heavier recreational dose are pretty on par with this one, so this section is a bit more brief, but this also includes the use of weed here. It definitely changed my perception on it towards a one that's more party-like, which is something I used to do quite a bit when I went out, codeine and marijuana as a must to get you feeling right. Also, I decided not to go on a walk for this dosage, mainly because I think not wanting to go on a walk should factor in for that test, and I wasn't really feeling it with this. Mood. I feel high, but it's very manageable. More like a strong mood booster at this dose, or mood downer, because I do feel the drowsy side of it regardless, specifically physically, similar to the 150 milligram dose. My mind is a bit out of it too, but that can be due to different reasons. But in general, I would say my mood is moderate, not happy, not sad, just living in between. Energy. Energy is down than what it normally would be, physical energy mainly. Again, this would be a good dose for some snoozing. Sociability. At this dose it is better but not something prominent. I'd rather be doing introverted activities in all honesty, which is something I prefer when I'm sober anyways, but when I put myself in a situation, communication flows quite nicely for me with less effort than normal. Food test. Well, give me some bud and problem fucking solved, boys! JK, I'm just fucking kidding. I ate, and it's not the same if you were just smashing like you just smoked. It has this kind of like full feeling with possible nausea, but it isn't too apparent. Work test. I did some physical work instead at this dose, just some housework like some dishes and vacuuming. I have to admit I couldn't wait until this shit was over, and I just was not feeling it. Creativity test. On par with my sober creativity. Physical activity test. I feel like I get tired faster, or the energy is just down. did some dribbling, and yeah, 5 minutes and I'm done. Music test. Music is great, though I have the select taste that just pulls me deeper into the mood, the drowsy music as I mentioned before. Walking test, not applicable here. And entertainment test. Yes, very well done. I played some video games and I was into that bitch for sure. Had a great time. And a little end note with weed, and this is all written out in real time. This just goes to the next fucking level. I'm fucking bulling. Like, this is what recreational is, and it just kind of makes me get into the party mood for sure. It's euphoric as fuck, and music is going. Moving on to the medicinal dose. This took the shortest time to hit, being only about 15 minutes at a dose of only 50 milligrams. And not too much to say about this. I can see this treating what it's meant to treat, but not huge on the recreational effects. Mood. This feeling is very subtle, like there was a knob turned up just by 1 for my high scale. I feel content with things. I wouldn't say feel better or worse, just kinda doing shit. My mind is maybe slowed down a little, I think, but for the most part, I wouldn't say much has changed here. Energy. A little down, but I don't feel much different in my energy levels compared to before I dosed. Sociability. This I think is easier, not by a ton, but there is a slight edge I feel when you're off the lean. You're kind of happier in your responses, I think, and things may come out a bit easier. Food test. Had to smoke some bud for this, and even with that, I only managed a moderate sized meal for myself. Can definitely notice the effects of appetite suppression. Work test. Focus on an assignment. Can't say I felt more compelled to complete it, and did feel like I kinda had to force my way through it once I had to consider theories and whatnot, but still got that shit done. Creativity test. This went pretty well. I got into the flow nicely and things felt natural too. No enhancement or disenhancement. Physical activity test. Played some basketball this time. I felt like I got sweatier faster and just tired a lot faster than I would have normally, but I was still able to perform pretty well. Music test. Music enhancement is still there surprisingly. I'm able to get into the music easier, I feel like, and it also adds on to any potential feelings of pleasure I had. Walking test. Walking felt good, but not for very long. I wasn't motivated to walk far, but it was a nice brisk walk, just a few blocks here and there, and it was decent. Entertainment test. I watched some basketball and read some during this. I felt basketball was basketball for me, and so was reading. And with all of this, let's get into my recommendation here. So if you're looking to get high, I normally wouldn't recommend this substance unless you can do it right. And normally for this to work well for me, I have to combine it with some things. Weed, of course, being the main thing, but also maybe something else like some kratom or Benadryl, which could help boost the effects. And if you can get it with promethazine, this may help also with a more recreational experience. On its own, I would say it's pretty weak and normally leaves me wanting something more. This is not something to go out of your way with if it costs a lot of money, because I know people will sell it by the pint for like a few hundred. And if you're prescribed this, then I probably would recommend it if it helps you feel better. And because it does have a generally safe profile and it can do what it's meant to do. So overall, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of codeine as I once was anymore, but I mainly used to use it for recreational effects, and to get those effects, I feel like I need a list of other things just to feel right, and I found other substances that I prefer over this anyways. Also, the negatives tend to weigh out the positives for me. If I need recreation from an opiate, then a hydro will do way better than this. And it's a moderately enjoyable experience, I guess. It really does depend. It's nothing too grand in my opinion. So with that, I'm going to have to give codeine a 5 out of 10. So that is, let's dive into codeine, or the codeine review. And I hope you guys did enjoy this. If there's anything you would like to see different in structure for these types of reviews, because we're open to criticism and suggestions, of course. Feel free to leave that below. And if you like the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment below. Comment below what you want to see me do next, actually. We might hop on something. But, with that all being said, it's been someone that's no one, and I hope you guys have a wonderful fucking day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.